So I've been trying to decide what would make someone want to be an ICE agent, especially being that they're guys who have to cover up their faces, which clearly has to be a sign of some type of insecurity amongst themselves that there may be retribution for what they're doing, which means that obviously they are well aware of what they're doing and the constitutionality of what they're doing is wrong. But let's look at what kind of guy really wants to be a thug, a super stormtrooper for Trump. And first of all, I would suspect that inwardly they're probably guys who were cowards, and they're searching for that red badge of courage that, confronted with a real life situation one on one, they would probably fold. And, as now they're whining and crying that people are shooting at them. And well, what did they expect this job was going to be? Just, keep going after little kids and old ladies and be like the IDF and, target little babies. But the bottom line is that there's probably an inner sadistic realm within them that they can't escape. So they're using this job as a means of fulfilling the, prophecy that they've given themselves of being an abuser, being an oppressor. And obviously, I would be willing to bet the majority of them have a history of pedophilia. Probably not on record, but I have an idea the way that they treat little kids when I've seen what they do is that they are pedophiles and that they're definitely some sick people. But, why would somebody really want to do that if that wasn't some of the things they were trying to, achieve within themselves? It's kind of like people who become, snipers and people that become, Green Beret and that. You only do that there's three reasons, honor for your family, because somebody else was in your family who was a Green Beret or a sniper, or two, you actually think that you're doing something for your country. But the big one is because they have that inner motivation somewhere that they want to kill. They want to harm people, and they enjoy it. They get some type of satisfaction from being that person who is an ICE agent. And obviously, if they're going to cover their faces, they are afraid. Which goes back to why they're probably cowards at best. As long as they're in part of the group, they're fine. One-on-one, they're probably going to be really crying. And it's amazing how they go in with tons of battle gear, guns and weapons, and the neighborhood people end up chasing them out. But I'm also sure that this is where America might be different than Nazi Germany. Because I got a feeling there's a lot more people in America that haven't fallen for the orange Kool-Aid Trump's given them, and that they may end up fighting back beyond anything that any Republican or Project 2025 person could have ever thought. And unfortunately, there'll be a lot of, things to go on that we're not going to like. But I don't think that we're going to end up like Nazi Germany. There's too many people who actually care about being an American and don't care because they forget that when people get in a situation where they have nothing to live for anymore, which pretty much are taking everything away from them, Medicare, trying to do away with Medicaid, education, they have nothing to go for. And that's the lesson they didn't learn about the people in Gaza, the people in Afghanistan, the people in Iraq. Once you take away their sense of who they are, they do have nothing to live for, and you will suffer the consequence of what you've done to them.